Hello and welcome to Hartland's Cromaine Library. My name is Ms. Marta and I'm here to share the history of this beautiful building with you. You'll also get some fun facts about your hometown library. This is the library's main entrance and the one you're probably the most familiar with. But if you walk around to the south side of the building, you'll see this entrance, which is only open for special events and occasions. This is the library's original entrance, which opened in 1927. Let's go take a look inside. This is known as the community room, and it's the oldest room in the library. If you've attended a book club, Polar Express Day, Harry Potter camp, book sale, or one of a million other library programs, it may look familiar to you. It's one of the library's 2 programming rooms and is also often available for local groups to reserve for meetings and other events. When the library opened in 1927, all of the books and materials had to fit in this room. They certainly wouldn't fit in there today. We have way more books, not to mention movies, magazines, sports equipment, STEM kits, and a million other fun things to check out. Back when the library opened, it would have looked more like this. Do you see any differences between now and then? Well, believe it or not, the table and chairs are still there. But the drapes in the windows have definitely changed. Do you see anything else? In the older photo, there are lots of pictures hanging along the bookcase in the windowsill. I'll tell you what those are later, but they aren't there now. Let's take a look at the outside of the library. The exterior is almost identical to what it looks like today, but we don't have those canopies over the windows anymore. Now you should know that the library wasn't designed by just anyone. It was designed by the Dean of the College of Architecture at the University of Michigan in the American Federalist style. And 2 very special men and their families provided the funds to build the library, J. Robert Krause Sr. and his uncle Henry Abner Tremaine. Can you guess how they came up with the name Cromaine? Well, they took the crow from Krause and the Maine from Tremaine, and voila, you've got Cromaine. In addition to the funds to build the original building, J. Robert Krause donated the library's first collection of books and a wonderful collection of artwork, including this copy of the original Madonna of the Chair painting by famous Italian artist Raphael, as well as this marble eagle and much more. He also donated his autograph collection, which included signed photos and letters by some of history's greats. In fact, do you remember when I mentioned those pictures that were hanging along the windows? Well, those were signed letters and photos from his collection, including this letter written by a very famous president. Can you guess which one? Abraham Lincoln. Other letters that were displayed included one by author Mark Twain, as well as Helen Keller. Now, these items are no longer at Cromaine, but they can be found at the University of Michigan's Bentley Historical Library. Other historical items that have once been on display at Cromaine include items that can now be found at the Florence B. Deering Museum. Florence B. Deering was actually the director of the Cromaine Library and started the museum in the basement of the original building in 1958. She collected antiques donated by Hartland residents to showcase the development of rural life in Hartland. Now, in addition to books, artwork, historic letters, antiques, Cromaine was once home to a special living thing, too. Rachel, the library cat. Just before Christmas in 1971, Rachel was found shivering outside the library. The staff took her in and nursed her back to health and tried to find her a home in the community. But Rachel quickly established the library as her home and ended up staying. She was often found sleeping in the book stacks and cuddling in the laps of patrons while they read or listened at story time. The library staff had to make sure they properly locked up their lunches or Rachel would end up eating them. She passed away in 1984, but has the distinction of being the only cat staff member of the Cromaine Library. Be sure to see the painting of Rachel in the library's 2nd floor corridor the next time you stop and see us. Rachel saw a lot of changes in her time at the library, including the largest expansion in its history, which occurred in 1979. Here's an early photo of the construction. There's the original library building in the background, and the big hole where they would end up putting the two-story building that's now attached to it, which looks like this. As the Hartland community has continued to grow, so has Cromaine. In the 2000s, the Cromaine Crossroads branch opened on the corner of Old 23 and M59. It was then closed in 2017 to allow for maintenance and renovations to occur on the main location, which included the addition of the youth program room to the east of the building, which opened in 2017. Now, the great thing about Cromaine is that we're so much more than a beautiful and historic building filled with amazing things. We have a long history of getting out into the community and bringing the library to you. For example, what do you think is going on in this picture? These children are getting books from the Cromaine's Traveling Book Service. Beginning in 1935, a librarian visited each of the 12 one-room schoolhouses in the Hartland area twice a month to provide new books to the students. In the summer, the librarian would drive it to the outlying grocery stores as well, where children would be congregating over the summer months so that they could get books for recreational reading in the summer. Today, you don't even need to leave your house to use the library. You can apply for a card online and access thousands of downloadable books, magazines, and audiobooks right on your computer or mobile device. Even stream movies and music. To do so, visit www.cromaine.org and take a look, or you can give us a call and stop by to see us and learn more. Okay, you've learned a lot about the history of Hartland's Cromaine Library today. Let's see how much you actually remember. Here's your first question. What year did the library open? How did the Cromaine Library get its name? What museum was started in the basement of the library? What was the name of Cromaine's library cat? What is the library's website? Here are the answers. How'd you do? We hope you enjoyed learning about Hartland's Cromaine Library. Be sure to stop by and check it out for yourself. You can also visit us online at cromaine.org. Thank you again, and happy reading!